And news coming in from Dominica that a court is to pronounce its verdict shortly. Arguments have concluded on both sides in the High Court of Dominica. What we are also being told is that the government in Dominica, the public prosecutor, has argued that Mehul Choksi should be deported to India. The Dominican Public Prosecution Service says Choksi's petition is not maintainable. The petition should not be heard. Remember, there is an 8-member Indian team also on standby, a team of the Central Bureau of Investigation, the Enforcement Directorate and officials of the Ministry of External Affairs. You've got diplomats who are standing by, emphatically making a plea that Mehul Choksi is accused of serious financial fraud in India. Here is a man who stands accused of a fraud to a tune of 13,500 crore rupees plus the Punjab National Bank scam. And that is the bigger issue. He should be deported to India. I want to quickly cut across to India Today's Foreign Affairs editor Geeta Mohan and Munish Pandey, who's tracking the Enforcement Directorate and CBI very closely. They join me on the broadcast. Munish, you've been speaking to CBI officials on ground and at the headquarters. What's the latest?
Yeah, well, Gaurav, what I'm hearing from my sources who are in Dominica, that the arguments from both the sides is over. From Mehul Choksi's side, the argument was that India cannot be party in this case because this matter is of illegally entering into the country, and they have already pleaded that they were abducted and Mehul Choksi was tortured and taken to Dominica. So he is ready to go back to Antigua. That is what the lawyers are claiming. That's the lawyer argued. Mehul Choksi's lawyer argued before the Dominican High Court. But what we are hearing from my sources in Central Bureau of Investigation and those who are in Dominica is that India made a very strong case through the Dominican prosecution agency. India also submitted some of the applications, including the ED affidavit, which said that Mehul Choksi is an Indian citizen. He has committed a serious fraud. The evidence were given, and also there is a red corner notice against Mehul Choksi. All these documents were given to the court. Apart from that, the argument also included the submission by the Dominican government, which becomes very important, Gaurav, because what Dominican court said that this man should be sent back to India because there he is wanted. And secondly, what they said that the plea by Mehul Choksi is not maintainable in the...
That's a very important point you're making, and I want to bring in Geeta Mohan for more on this. Geeta, the fact that Dominican Prosecution Service is saying that this man should be deported to India, how much weight will that carry? Of course, this is a case that's currently being heard, is about Mehul Choksi having allegedly illegally entered Dominica. His lawyers have argued that he was abducted. Be that as it may, India's case in court, how strong is that? Of course, it's being argued through the Dominican government. Geeta.
Well, it is a strong case in terms of what India wants, the documents that India has provided, and the purpose and motive of India seeking deportation of Mehul Choksi to India. Having said that, they are going to go by the rules, and this was a habeas corpus petition. So the two sides have argued. The judge, Justice Stevenson, she's writing the order as we speak. But developments over here right now, what sources are telling me, and I was just going to put that out, Gaurav, is that this could very well not be a very definitive order. It could very well take a few more days, and there could be another hearing in the coming days. And if that is the case, it is going to be a little prolonged than the Indian side was expecting. Of course, this would certainly be something that could be looked at as a positive result or outcome for Mehul Choksi if he is not deported immediately, or if the decision is not definitive from the judge's point of view. What we're given to understand right now is that the judge is writing her order, but also that the order might not be very definitive and it could take a few more days. There could be an adjournment and a next hearing.
Sure, but as far as the initial case is concerned, Munish, and before I bring in our guests and get you more on this big story about developments that are taking place in Dominica, we also have a correspondent, Gail, who will join us. But Gail is in a in the court of law at this point of time, as the order is being dictated even as we speak. But Munish, this was a habeas corpus case, that where is Mehul Choksi? So there was a video conferencing. The judge saw him. So that part is settled. The second part, which is extremely crucial, whether he entered Dominica on his own illegally to go to Cuba, as was being argued initially, or was he abducted and brought here? And what happens next? What are your sources saying about the road ahead, Munish?
Yeah, well, Gaurav, this argument was made by Mehul Choksi's lawyer that he was abducted. But for Dominican court, it is, the prosecution agency, what they will be submitting. And they submitted that this man was found illegally entering into the country, and that is why he was arrested. Now, that is part number one. Now, what is the road ahead? Now, as far as Mehul Choksi is concerned, he has already said through his lawyers that he is ready to go back to Antigua. But he is not saying that he is ready to go back to India or any other thing. Now, apart from that, we are also hearing that the lawyers of Mehul Choksi, they are also trying to find out that if they lose this case, then there is any other option. Is there any appellate court where they can again file an appeal before the Dominican court and before the deportation can take place if it goes in favor of India? So they are trying to find out the options. But as far as the court is concerned, whether there is a full order or where there is an interim order, that we have to see. And second, if there is an order in favor of India, then what the strategy of Mehul Choksi's lawyers are going to be, because I'm hearing that they are looking for some other legal options in terms of appealing before any other court in Dominica.
Because we will also get our viewers more details, and Geeta and Munish have their ear to the ground. What we're also being told is that Mehul Choksi is trying to use opposition leaders in Dominica and in Antigua. There was an opposition leader in Dominica who went to the court. Now, why would he do that? We also have Navneet Vasan, former Joint Director of the Central Bureau of Investigation, joining me on the broadcast, and Ambassador Anil Triguniat, former diplomat, with us on the show.